Hey guys, welcome back to the number crunching series, and today we are looking at expenses. Okay, so before we get to the expenses, I wanted to quickly run through the top portion of the profit calculator just to show you what I have so far. $300,000 coming from revenue from mowing with 100 customers per crew, 2 crews, etc., etc. Here's my spray crew. This is lightly based off of my company's numbers. I will do this after I crunch the numbers completely with the CPA and get final year-end numbers. Don't forget to fill this cell out right here. Yellow cells you fill out, purple cells are calculated for you based off of what you put in the yellow cells. And then, so we got wages, paying off for percentage pay. I already went over in another video how you would go about, if you're paying by the hour, you just need to find the percentage that equals the total wages you paid your guys, and you can work around that very easily like that. So it breaks down by crew, mow crew, spray crew, office. In this example, I am the office person. I'm an S Corp, so I can pay myself a W-2 wage, so I do that. And I also give myself distributions, which will be covered in the expense portion. But you have variable and overhead expenses in your business. Overhead expenses are the ones that remain constant whether you are working or not, like your truck payment, insurance, your phone bill, all this stuff that's you're gonna get the bill whether you're working or not. Variable expenses is gonna be like gas, like wages would be a variable expense, different kind of stuff like that. But this video is not breaking down variable and overhead expenses. We are just looking at the profit calculator. So I already have this pre-ed out to make this video go a little quicker. Total of all truck payments, I have 0 here because all my trucks are paid off. If you can get to a point where you can pay your trucks off, guys, you put a lot more money in your pocket. I'm a big fan of getting your debt down to as little per month as possible and keep that money. So I have no truck payment, so I'm putting no truck payment in here. Mower payments, I financed 3 zero turns, 3 walk behinds, 3 steel trimmers, and 3 steel blowers, and it came up to $862 a month. So that is what I put in here. I actually pay $1,000 a month on this, but I just wanted to, show you if you're just paying, what your payment actually is. Rent expense, I run out of my house, so I'm just including my rent expense in here to keep things more realistic. And it's actually my mortgage is my rent expense in here, but it's 800 and something is my mortgage, and I pay $1,000 every month just to knock that interest down a little more, not pay as much in interest. But insurance came out, it fluctuated throughout the year, so I'm using $500 as a estimate, and that'll get you. So if you notice on this cell right here, cost per month, it's gonna put in your cost per month, and it'll calculate the cost per year. Just multiply it by 12, as you can see in the cell. But you can just type in over here if you want. You could bypass and just type it in here, but it will mess up the formula. So insurance costs $500 a month, came out to $6,000 per year. Workers' comp is calculated for you. The orange cells calculate for you based off of all the other numbers you put. And you can change this. I use 3.6% to calculate workers' comp, but you can change that if you would like. I pay too much for my phone. I have 3 phones, so that's why that expense is so high. Owner's distribution. So I paid myself $4,000 a quarter in distributions because it is taxed at a lower rate than wages. So you need to talk to your CPA about doing this, but this is a way to save money in taxes. And I choose to do it, and I do it legally. So that's how I'm doing this. Owner salary, I'm leaving this blank since I was technically the office person, if you will. So my salary was up there in the wages portion, so I'm not going to double enter it. And advertising cost. And then another thing is, a lot of my personal expenses actually get paid out of my business account because I operate from a home-based office, so not all of it can be written off. But so on top of my wages plus my distributions, I also have owner's equity, and so that's technically like I'm making more money than this $16,000 plus this $40,000. Really, if you put in the owner's equity, I make like $70,000 doing this, and I don't work very much, so it's a very good trade of time for money for me. Advertising, I didn't advertise this year because I really wasn't trying to grow the business, but I just put in $50 because I have hosting fees on my website, domain renewal, probably did a couple things here and there I freaking forgot about. So I just put in $50 just to keep it more realistic. Payroll and income taxes calculated for you. Tax prep fees, I want to say it was like $2,500 last year. Things got a little more complex this year, so I'm going to say $3,500. Local taxes, so this is just like city and county, and you can include your permits and license fees in here. But federal and state are being calculated in these, so you don't need to double enter those here. During year accounting fees, my accountant doesn't charge me. I always tell him, like, send me a bill, and he never does until he does my taxes. So I guess, it's included in there. Software and technology, I use Service Autopilot. I use Wufoo Form Builder. I use QuickBooks Link to sync with my bank. So I'm saying $200 a year total for software and technology, apart from my phone, and then I have Dropbox as its own category right here. Payroll costs, so I had Paychex doing my payroll. I can't recommend them, but it cost me about $1,000 for them to do the payroll and shoot me my W-2s. Internet costs $60 a month, came out to $720 a year. We already hit Dropbox. Lawyer fees, I didn't retain a lawyer this year or have any lawyer fees, so $0. I didn't buy new uniforms. We just used ones from last year. They were in good shape. And business coaching, I used a business coach for 4 years running my business, but I discontinued this year, so I'm leaving that as $0. So total in the overhead expense is $87,000, and I know some of these are not technically overhead, but they're still accounted for as expenses, so it's all good. If you want to add in your own categories, here are some spots to do that if you have costs that I don't have. Okay, trying to keep the bottom part hidden here. All right, so variable expenses. Meals and entertainment. If you don't know, you can write off meals and entertainment. You can actually only write off 50% of the value, but it's still something to take advantage of, a little perk of being a business owner. So I do this roughly $1,800 a year. You need to talk to your accountant about how much is too much and what the guidelines are. There are several rules to follow doing that. Charitable contributions, I always like to donate to charity at least a little bit. So $1,200 is not enough in my opinion, but I'm still on my way up. I will give back a lot more once I have a lot more money. Repairs, maintenance, parts, stuff like that. I had to replace an engine this year, so that was $8,000. So that's the majority of this. And then, parts for mowers and trimmers and blowers and repairing stuff. I like to try to keep my stuff new and just sell it while it still has value, so I don't have a lot of repair and maintenance costs. I think that's a good idea if you can swing that in your business. Gas, I did not track my numbers well enough, but I want to say $8,400 is going to be a pretty realistic number for our gas expense in the business this year. Consumable items, so trimmer string, 2-cycle oil, stuff you burn through like that. I put $600 for the year here. Spray chemicals, roughly $8,000 to do our 6 treatments on those 250 lawns. And we run a hybrid organic program. I will get more into that. So says spray chemicals, but a lot of this was organic stuff. Worm castings, bat guano, and kelp, seaweed, all that kind of stuff that I use to make my compost tea. I will make a video on that in the upcoming months. Money reserved for bonuses. So even though I told my guys I wasn't going to give a bonus because of the high percentage rate I was paying them, I still did end up bonusing them each out a couple $100 around Christmas. and that brings the total variable expenses to 34,000, total expenses to 22. So we come down a little bit, and we're to the bottom of the spreadsheet. So total revenue 375,000. That's mow crew plus spray crew. That's what I got. And then you add up the variable expenses, overhead expenses, and the wages. So 310,000 or so there. So that leaves $64,000 in the business as profit. Please remember, as you are the owner of your company, the money you pay yourself is not profit. You would have to pay someone else to do that if you were to replace yourself. And if you're going to sell your business, they're going to have to pay somebody to do it. So it is not profit. I see that get messed up a lot in people's numbers. So using this example, this is a 17% profit margin. So that is really good, really, really good. I mean, I think 20 is like really good, but in this industry, guys, in anywhere, I mean, depending on the volume of work you're doing, 5% profit margin could be good, but you want to try to get it towards 20, and if you can get it to 30, you are seriously raking in some dough and keeping it. So then I just have a couple other calculations here, just to get you some ideas on some numbers. If it means something to you, great. If not, oh well. And then if this cell here does not equal 1, something is messed up on the spreadsheet. So that's just kind of like a check and balance system. And that is the profit calculator. So it was requested to add to this, so I will do that. And I hope you guys found value in the video. If you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. It would really mean a lot. Really appreciate everyone's support. Thanks so much for watching. Catch us on another video and keep making money.